Welcome to Momtalk Thursday. This is Divya, your mom friend and a parenting educator. Happy Navratri to all those who are celebrating it. Today, live may end up abruptly, मैं पहले बता दूं, because my son and my husband both is at home and there is a lot going on. So somehow, अभी मैंने बाहर दरवाज़ा बंद करा हुआ है and I am here. But I thought I'll just give you a little bit advance noting that in case suddenly I stop it and I go, please don't mind it. Okay, so how is everybody? Before everyone joins in, just a quick update. Um, just a quick update. There is a masterclass that is going to happen tomorrow. It's a free calm motherhood masterclass and uska link मैंने pin कर दिया है. तो all of you who have not registered, please register. Okay, कल 10 बजे है. It's 10 to 12 and where I talk about the 3 pillars of calm motherhood. And trust me, you will not regret missing this free masterclass. Having said that, if you have come here for the first time, then type first. If you're here again, then thank you again for coming in. अगर आप पहली बार आए हैं, तो let me tell you, I come here every Thursday to answer your parenting questions. So you can ask me any question that you have, but whatever you ask, make sure वो आप नीचे right में there's a question mark. Try to put your question there so that I can pick it up from there. ठीक है? It's easier for me to find your question there. When you're writing the question, please make sure you write the age of your child. आप प्रॉब्लम लिख देते हो और आप एज नहीं लिखोगे तो आपको आंसर भी मैं बहुत जनरली दूंगी क्योंकि मुझे पता नहीं कि आपके बच्चे का एज क्या है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, a 2-year-old having a tantrum, a 4-year-old having a tantrum, a 7-year-old having a tantrum, a 10-year-old having a tantrum or not listening are very different things. ठीक है? So whatever questions you have, you can put in there. And till that time, let me just give you a few other updates. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then do go and do it because I answer one parenting question there every day. Because in last 2 years, I have realized कि same set of questions आते रहते मेरे को. So I thought it is better to kind of make like an library or somewhere that people can go to and find the question and find an answer. So that is what I have been doing right now. So every day on YouTube I come live and I answer one question. So if you have any questions, you can put in here and I'll answer there as well. So let's start. आज मुझे सुबह से 3 लोगों ने पूछा है कि मैम बाउंड्रीज कैसे सेट करते हैं. सो आई थॉट आई विल स्टार्ट विद सेटिंग बाउंड्रीज. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव दिस क्वेश्चन कि मैम बाउंड्रीज कैसे सेट करते हैं? व्हाट इज अ बाउंड्री? ओके, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल गेट कंफ्यूज अबाउट कि बाउंड्री होती क्या है. आप बोलते हो बच्चे को मारो नहीं, आप बोलते हो बच्चों को शेम मत करो, आप बोलते हो बच्चों को डांटो नहीं. सेट अ बाउंड्री एंड बी फर्म अबाउट इट. बट मेरे से बाउंड्री सेट नहीं होती है और अगर मैं बाउंड्री सेट करती हूँ तो मेरे से वो फॉलो थ्रू नहीं होती है. तो आज मैं थोड़ा बहुत बाउंड्री के बारे में बताऊंगी विच एक्चुअली आई टीच इन डिटेल इन माय पॉजिटिव डिसिप्लिन मास्टर क्लास. बट आई वांट टू टेल यू द बेसिक ऑफ व्हाट बाउंड्री सेटिंग इज. ओके, सो बाउंड्रीज जो होती है ना, बाउंड्री एक ऐसी चीज होती है विच इज बेसिकली, आप ऐसा समझ लो, इट्स लाइक अ रूल ऑफ द हाउस कि these are the few rules that I'm setting. For example, screen time is from this time to this time. Screens can only be watched on Saturdays. Junk food is only this time to this time or on these days. Or something like if you have to go down to play, you have to finish studying. Half an hour of studying is required. Whatever it is. Okay, those are called boundaries. Okay, अब क्या होता है ना, हमें लगता है कि मेरा काम क्या है सिर्फ कि मैंने बच्चे को बता दिया कि स्क्रीन इज ओनली ऑन सैटरडे एंड मेरा बच्चा हा हा ही करके मान जाएगा एंड इट्स फाइन बिकॉज आई हैव टोल्ड कि यू कैन ओनली वॉच इट ऑन सैटरडे. सो नाउ द चाइल्ड हैज टू बी सेल्फ रेगुलेटेड एंड सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन टू ओनली वॉच इट ऑन अ सैटरडे. बट डू यू थिंक दैट इज पॉसिबल? नो, राइट? व्हाई इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल? Because boundaries is something that you have to set where you have little bit of control. Okay, where you have to set where you have little bit of control. What does that mean? I told my son ki Saturday is your, I told my son that Saturday is your screen time. Okay, now मेरा बच्चा चल मान भी गया कि ठीक है मम्मा, I will only watch on Saturday 1 hour. Done. Now the thing is, after 1 hour he is not switching off the phone, the TV. After 1 hour, he's not switching off the TV. Now, when he's not switching off the TV, I go and I keep telling him, we discussed 1 hour ke baad you have to switch off the TV, but you're not switching off the TV. Why you're not switching off the TV? And I get into the lecture in a hyper mode. That is not setting boundary. Why? Because you are dependent on your child to follow through. Please understand, children do not have the capability right now to self-control. Understand? They do not have the capability to self-control, to suddenly, टीवी बंद कर दोगे. आप लोगों को कितना मुश्किल होता है आजकल अपने फोन से हिलने के लिए या फिर टीवी बंद करने के लिए. तो सोचो एक 6 साल का 7 साल का बच्चा कैसे अपने आप बंद कर देगा. So boundary is when you take a decision as to what you are going to do, not what the other person is going to do. So ये चीज आप लिख लो. Boundary is something that you decide that you are going to do. So now I'll tell you how to set a boundary for screen time if I have to set it. I discussed with my son, who is now 6 years old. I tell him, okay, you're watching the TV on Saturday. You get 40 minutes to watch. Fine. यहाँ तक हम सही है. उसके बाद I tell him, at 30 minutes, I will come and tell you 30 minutes are over and you get 10 more minutes so that you know कि 10 minutes are left. Done. Then when 40 minutes is over and the timer is up, I will come and tell you to switch off the TV. In case you are not able to switch off the TV, I will take the remote and switch it off for you. So who is taking the responsibility? And who is in control of what is going to happen? Me. पेरेंट्स को बाउंड्री सेट करने में इसलिए प्रॉब्लम होती है बिकॉज वो अपने बच्चे से एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि दे विल फॉलो थ्रू. नो. अब एक और चीज लेते हैं, जैसे समवन आल्सो आस्क मी, मैम आप बोलते हो कि मॉल में जाके अगर बच्चा रोता है यू कैन सेट अ बाउंड्री, नॉट गिव देम एन आइसक्रीम. यस, बट बट वो अगर मॉल में रो रहा है तो मैं क्या करूं? अगर आपका बच्चा मॉल में रो रहा है आइसक्रीम के लिए, उस टाइम पे अगर आप क्या करोगे ज्यादा से ज्यादा, यू विल टेक द चाइल्ड आउट फ्रॉम देयर. You can explain the child little bit, but trust me, when the mind is in a distress mode, जब बच्चा रो रहा है, चिल्ला रहा है, तब explanation doesn't work. Even it doesn't work on you, right? जब आप रोते हो, चिल्लाते हो, when you're upset, if someone comes and start giving you explanation, does it work? जब आपको एक अच्छा सा सूट चाहिए और you want a nice dress or you want a new sandal and your husband or your wife or your mother-in-law or mother comes and explains you, अरे जरूरत नहीं है इसकी, तेरे पास इतने सूट पड़े हैं, तेरे को एक और पिंक सूट की क्या जरूरत है, बट मुझे चाहिए ना. उस टाइम पे आप अगर उसको एक्सप्लेन करने लगोगे, उसको नहीं समझ में आएगा. राइट? सो बच्चों को उस टाइम पे कुछ एक्सप्लेन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. बेटर इज टू टेक देम अवे फ्रॉम देयर. नाउ बाउंड्री आप कब सेट करोगे बच्चे के साथ? घर से निकलने से पहले. दैट वी आर गोइंग देयर, you may see toys, today we are not buying a toy. You may see ice cream, you may not have ice cream. Okay, for example, I'll give you a very honest example here. My son is not allowed to have ice cream more than me setting a boundary, because of the doctor has asked him not to. He has very sensitive throat. Okay, every time before we go for a birthday party, I remind him that beta, there can be an ice cream there, and I know it is very difficult when all your friends are having ice cream and you cannot have ice cream. Because see, you have to understand from their point of view. So what did I do here? I connected with him. I showed him empathy. I told him I understand, because it is obvious. उसके सारे friends ice cream खा रहे हैं और वो सिर्फ वहाँ खड़ा रहेगा, कैसा लगेगा उसको? So I tell him कि I understand कि कि तुम्हें बहुत बुरा लगेगा. So let's do one thing. You don't have ice cream there because you know it is not good for your throat. When we come back, I will bake a cake for you. We'll have some laddus at home. Or kabhi तो I even tell him it's okay, just have a small chocolate if you want. Why? Because I have to set it before I go. वहां जाके बर्थडे पार्टी में जाके अगर मैं उसको तब याद दिला रही हूँ कि तू आइसक्रीम नहीं खा सकता, तेरा गला खराब है, ये है वो है करके, it is not fair. He is going to have a huge tantrum. Okay, someone asked me how to set a boundary with a 2-year-old. 2-year-old is too young to set a boundary. There what works is you taking them away from there. See, boundary is what key you are telling this is acceptable, this is not acceptable, right? 2 years में children are still understanding the world. They are still understanding क्या चल रहा है, क्या नहीं चल रहा है. They are Some children are vocal, some children are not vocal. They understand certain vocabulary, they don't understand certain vocabulary. So what do you do with such children? At 2 years old, your boundary setting will look something like this. 2 years में boundary setting सबसे ज़्यादा तुम्हें करनी पड़ती है, because they hit, they push, they will snatch a toy. इन सब चीज़ों पे आपको you have to set limits on this, right? So for a 2-year-old, what you're going to do is, if your child is hitting, वो किसी के साथ है, and if your child is hitting you only, suppose, okay, there are two things I will do. Either I will hold my child's hand and push my child little back and say, I'm sorry, you cannot hit me, it hurts me. मुझे लगती है, आप मुझे मारो नहीं. अगर वो तो भी आपको मार रहा है, then what you do is you tell your child, उसको समझ आए नहीं आए, it is very important you say, keep saying it to your 2-year-old, because the more you say it, the more they understand it. Slowly vocabulary build होती है. You say, बेटा, if you don't stop hitting, I'm going to put you down. मैं आपको नीचे बैठाने वाली हूँ till the time you are not ready to be calm and use your gentle touch. ओके तो इसमें आप कैसे कंट्रोल में हो? आपने उसको यहां से लेके नीचे डाल दिया, आपने उसको लेके कॉट में डाल दिया, आपने उसको लेके एक सेफ स्पेस पे डाल दिया. समझे? सो इससे क्या हो रहा है, उसको समझ में आ रहा है कि इफ आई डू दिस, दिस इज अ रिएक्शन दैट माई मदर इज गोइंग टू गिव. Okay, then what I do is I teach my 2-year-old that, if you are angry, you use your gentle hands. If you are angry, you hit a pillow. I give an alternate to a child. You can hit my hand. Like I remember to a client where the boy used to hit the mother a lot. I told the client, listen, right now your child is only 2.5 years old. Okay, so and he was a very strong-willed child. When he was not getting what he wanted, उसका tantrum से बहुत जल्दी meltdown में चले जाता था, and at that time managing a child sometimes a little difficult. So I said, what you do is you start giving alternate to your child. So if your child is hitting and if there is a pillow, उसके सामने pillow कर दे, you say hit here, because the child is so frustrated, उसको सिर्फ गुस्सा निकालना है. Okay, and then she started doing that. I said, and she's like, if there's no pillow, I said, then give your hand, say okay, hit here, hit here. Because क्या हो रहा है ना, उस टाइम पे the child is so angry that the child doesn't know what else to do. Okay, and when a child is little down, then you put the child down. So ultimately, what is boundary? Boundary is what you control. If you want to learn more in detail about boundaries, about how to talk so that children listen, how to have positive discipline at home, which is going to make your life much more easier because it teaches you the long-term way of connection and setting boundaries with your child, then attend the masterclass. I will invite you into the positive discipline workshop, which is happening on Monday. Okay, so join in. It's a small group, so come join in. I've shared the link in my Zoom, in my stories as well. See, I'll tell you what, you can keep asking me small questions here and there, but if you want to learn in depth, agar aap chahte ho to implement it, then you come to the workshop and I will teach you everything in detail. Okay, now coming to another question about how to set boundaries with elder kids. My child is very rude to me. मेरा बच्चा ठीक से बात नहीं करता है, इसमें मैं क्या बाउंड्री सेट करूंगी? मेरा बच्चा मेरे से ठीक से बात नहीं करता है, इससे मैं क्या बाउंड्री सेट करूंगी? हाउ कैन आई कंट्रोल हाउ माई चाइल्ड टॉक्स? अगर मैं उसको बोलूँ ठीक से बात कर, तो मुझे लगता है वो ठीक से बात कर लेगा. दैट्स नॉट अ बाउंड्री. सो वेयर इज द पावर विद मी हियर? द पावर विद मी इज आई टेल माई चाइल्ड, लिसन, I think you're angry, but this is not how you can talk to me. So I'm going to walk away. So I am taking the power back. And I say, I'm going to walk away from here. And when we both are calmed down, we are going to talk about it. Don't you think that's a better idea? When you and your husband or you or somebody else is fighting, you expect the other person to be quiet. You expect कि यार मेरी ऊपर से हो जाए उसके, मतलब I let me have the last word. But by doing that, what is happening? You're breaking the relationship. So the better thing is, even with children, because बच्चों में self control नहीं है, their logical brain is still developing, और अगर छोटे हैं तो बहुत ही underdeveloped है. Okay, so the best thing to do here is you set a boundary and say that, listen, I need a minute. I do not like how you're talking to me. So I'll come back and then we will discuss this. उसमें क्या होगा? you are calming down, your teenage or your pre-teener is calming down, and then you can have a better conversation. So the crux of this entire thing is ki boundary is something where who takes control? I take control. Boundary is something where what happens? Who is in charge? I am in charge. I am going to take an action. I'll give you one more example. Generally, my son only eats chocolates on a Saturday. But lately, because he's having medicines, with medicine, he's allowed to have a chocolate. Okay. बट वो क्योंकि अब आदत पड़ गई है ना चॉकलेट खाने का क्योंकि ही इज नॉट वेल फॉर ऑलमोस्ट अ वीक ना. ठीक है. क्या हो रहा था? ही वॉज गोइंग एंड पिकिंग अप चॉकलेट्स एंड आई कुड सी हिम. ही वुड टेल मी एंड ही विल गो. इट्स नॉट दैट ही वुड नॉट टेल मी. ही वुड कम. ही सेड मम्मा आई फील लाइक हैविंग अ चॉकलेट, यू नो, कैन आई हैव अ चॉकलेट? एंड आई विल से नो, not today, not today. So then I made him sit down on Tuesday, and I said, see, every time you come to me and we fight about it, you ask me, my answer is no, and I don't like it. So I said, let's do one thing. Let's just pack the chocolates and keep it on the top shelf where you cannot reach. And the small chocolates that you're allowed to eat during your, the small chocolates that you're allowed to eat with your medicines, that I'll keep down. And that's what I did. Because sometimes you have to take a step, because children do not have self control. If I am expecting a 6-year-old to have so much self control कि एक पूरा drawer chocolates का भरा हुआ है and he's not eating it, I think that's kudos to him. उतना तो मेरे में भी नहीं होता है sometimes. Like I love eating mixture, and if there is peanuts at home, no amount of self control comes in handy. किस किस के साथ ऐसे होता है? But if there is something that you love is there at home, how much of you can really resist it? चलते फिरते इधर उधर खा ही लेते ना हम सारे. The same happens with children as well. Okay. Oh, so this was all about boundaries. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I will take it bottom right in the question bank. I saw one question here in comments, but as I said, अगर आप comments में question डालते हो, it goes up very quickly और मुझे नहीं दिखता है. Okay. So tell me what your questions are, and then I will take it up from here. But is boundaries okay, and another thing, what I have pinned here is tomorrow's masterclass. So if you have not registered, it's a free masterclass that I'm having tomorrow. Do come join in, and we're going to talk more about the 3 pillars of calm motherhood. Sorry, I can't find the question here. It's too much on the top. Okay, so let's take another topic of fear. Okay. Now in the morning someone messaged me that, you know, मेरे बच्चे ने एक horror movie देख ली है. The child is, I think, 4 years old, and after that he's not even letting me go out of the house. What do I do? See, fear is something that is real for children. Fear is something that they feel. मतलब हमें लगता है इसमें, हमें पता है भूत सच नहीं है, हमें पता है कि यार ये सच नहीं है, वो सच नहीं है. वी कीप टेलिंग देम दिस इज नॉट ट्रू, यू नो, दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. तुझे पता है ना भूत नहीं होता है, तुझे पता है ना ये ऐसे नहीं होता है. बट रिमेंबर, फॉर चिल्ड्रन what they feel is the truth. Okay, not only children, for adults as well. Ask someone who is scared of heights. Okay, for that person, अगर वो टॉप के माले पे जाएगा, if he is on the 40th 50th floor and if he looks down, he is going to get scared. No amount of you motivating that person and saying कि अरे it's not true, कुछ भी नहीं है, see it's so safe here, यहाँ railing है, या ये है, या वो है, is going to make that person feel better. What that person is going to feel better by is you understanding that, you know, I understand that, you know, you feel that way. You know, I understand that you know that you are feeling scared. Okay, now you are, what you're going to do is that when you understand that from a child or from the other person, that's when you connect with them. So if my child is scared of something XYZ, whatever it is, you know, and I am just saying कि अरे कुछ नहीं है, be brave, बच्चा अपने आप brave नहीं बन जाएगा. You have to give tools to your child. Okay, what tools you can do? One, you will acknowledge. You will say that yes, I understand that, you know, you feel that monster is real. I understand आपको डर लग रहा है, अंधेरे से डर लग रहा है, Chalo, let's find a solution to it. The more you're going to push the child away कि कुछ नहीं है कुछ नहीं है, the more the child is going to cling to you. Okay. Second, give them something to work with. For example, get into their world. If the child is scared of bed monsters, yeah, mama, there's something behind this, or mama, there's something behind my bed or under my bed, कि कुछ हो जाएगा. You give them something like, okay, let's have a magic spray, monster spray. ये spray मारोगे तो all the monsters will go. So you also know it's not true. Okay, but what you're giving them is a tool that they can believe in. A tool where they think कि अच्छा अगर मैं ये spray मारूंगा तो सच्ची में something will go. So you are just, because what they are also feeling is not true for you. For example, if they feel there are monsters, we know there are no monsters. Okay, and it's okay, it's imaginary. And what we are giving them like a monster tool, or what we are giving them like a monster spray is also not true, but it's imaginary, but it works because they have the belief that it is going to work, right? So you give them the tools for it. You tell them, अच्छा ऐसा कर लो, ऐसे पता है ऐसे होगा. You tell them, maybe we can have a night lamp. Maybe, like for my son, when he went through this phase, I told him, I said, you know what, मेरे को ना एक पाठ आता है, and whenever you do that part, God creates a circle around us, and if we do the part 3 times, then we have three strong circles, और वो circle के बाद तो कोई भी अंदर नहीं आ सकता उस circle से. So what did I do with him? I created a belief in him that if he does this particular part, there is an invisible line and no monster and nobody else can break it. Okay, and this entire line is made around the house, so nobody can enter the house. So we create a story with them to give them a belief. Okay, the thing that you should never do with the child is dismiss their emotion and say it is not true. Because in their reality, it is 110% true, and this is what they are feeling. Most importantly, keep a track on what your child is seeing. Like this mother said कि उसने कुछ horror देख लिया because उसके बड़ा sibling था, he was seeing, तो इसने भी देख लिया. I understand these things happen, but keep a track on what your child is seeing. Okay, like if my son is looking at something and I know कि उसके बाद उसको डर लगेगा, I tell him openly. I said, you're watching it, it is fine, but then you are not, you're घर में आके रात को you're going to get scared. And children can get scared of very small things. Sometimes they just watch a snake, or they must have just watched a lion, or they must have just watched something eating something, attacking something. If your child is sensitive, then they can get scared of that as well. Okay, so fear is something, or anxiety is something that doesn't go in a day. It can be built in a moment. I can see something and I can get scared. हम भी जब भूतों की मूवी देखते हैं, वी ऑल्सो फील दैट समथिंग इज अराउंड अस, जबकि हमको खुद पता है कि इट इज नॉट ट्रू, राइट? जब हम भूत की मूवी देखते हैं, आई नो इट इज नॉट ट्रू, बट आई स्टिल फील समथिंग इज अराउंड मी. सो व्हाट हैपेंस? जितना मर्जी कोई बोल दे कि नहीं नहीं कुछ नहीं है, जहाँ पर्दे के पीछे देख क्या कुछ भी नहीं है, नीचे देख ले कुछ भी नहीं है, बट आई स्टिल हैव अ फीलिंग, राइट, कि समथिंग इज देयर. So in the same way, children have a feeling. Do not dismiss it. हाँ, वो feeling के लिए give them an option. Like I said, maybe they can switch on their light, maybe they can have a monster spray, maybe they can have a ritual जिससे आप बोलो कि there is a golden ring around you, or God has put something, whatever according to your religion or according to whatever faith you believe in. But you have to just give them tools to make them feel stronger. Your words are not going to make them feel stronger. Okay, so I hope that helped. Okay, there's a question I saw where someone said that my 2-year-old bite nails. Okay, मैंने अभी लास्ट वीक ही इसके ऊपर ना यूट्यूब पे लाइव पे किया था. प्लीज गो एंड चेक इट, बट आई आंसर इट हियर एज वेल. उस पर मैंने काफी डिटेल में बताया था. If your child is biting nails, for all of you who are putting questions, please put it in the question mark wala column there. Okay, so क्या कहते हैं, हाँ, so she says कि my 2-year-old bites nails. So when children bite nail, or when children are fidgety, they have this nose picking, or when children are doing this with their legs, a lot of children have, they will keep moving their legs, tuck 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 tuck. Okay, 2-year-old me, it is basically sometimes they're nervous, sometimes it's a new place, that's why. Sometimes they are bored, Okay, so you have to figure out what that reason is. बच्चा बोर हो रहा है तो ये कर रहा है, कि बच्चा नर्वस हो रहा है या नई जगह पे तो ये कर रहा है, या बच्चा अगर उसके पास जैसे उसको भूख लगी है तो ये कर रहा है. यू डोंट नो व्हाट द रीजन फॉर अ 2 year old कैन बी. Okay, the more you're going to keep saying na kar mat kar, the more the child is going to do. And at 2 years, trust me, there's nothing much you can do also, because vocabulary bahut kam hai. So what you're going to do for a 2 year old is you're just every time they're biting, आप चुप करके उसका नेल निकाल लोगे. Every time they go, आप निकालोगे. Second, you will give an alternate. Okay, instead of biting nails, you will give them, because हो सकता है वो boredom से कर रहा है. So you get this fidgety toys, which is moving, जिसमें कुछ 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 होता रहता है. इतना सा कोई टॉय होगा, या तो उसको हिलता रहता है, या फिर उसमें से राउंड होता रहता है. They are called fidget toys. Okay, so instead of doing, in the moment the child does this, you take it out and you hand something else in his hand, so that his hand becomes busy. Okay, एंड द मोर आपको इसके ऊपर एंग्जाइटी होगी, एंड द मोर आप इस बारे में सोचोगे, उतना ही आपका बच्चा करेगा. ये मैं एक रूल बताती हूँ आपको. इन पेरेंटिंग ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर, जिस भी चीज के लिए आपको बहुत ज्यादा एंग्जाइटी होगी ना बच्चे को लेके, वो उतनी ज्यादा करेगा. जिस दिन वो अपनी फियर छोड़ दोगे ना बच्चे को लेके, चीजें अपने आप सॉर्ट होती रह जाएगी. I don't know how to explain it scientifically, but I have seen this in so many of my consultation, and so with so many of my clients and my community members, that the day they let go of that fear and that anxiety, कि चाहे वो पॉटी ट्रेनिंग से रिलेटेड, चाहे वो पॉटी ट्रेनिंग से रिलेटेड हो, चाहे वो स्लीप ट्रेनिंग से रिलेटेड हो, चाहे वो इससे रिलेटेड हो, चाहे वो हिटिंग से रिलेटेड हो, चाहे वो पढ़ाई से रिलेटेड हो, चाहे वो फोकस से रिलेटेड हो, the day they let go of that fear and anxiety and they say, it's okay, I'm going to help my child, this is not going to last forever, it is only a phase. The day they start saying this to themselves, slowly they start seeing a change. Because when I go to my child ना, जब मैं एंग्जाइटी के साथ बच्चे के पास जाती हूँ, जब मैं फियर के साथ बच्चे के पास जाती हूँ, तो क्या होता है, I react more. My child can feel that fear. My child can feel that stress. चाहे पढ़ाई की बात ले लो, अगर आप बच्चा पढ़ाई कर रहे हो और अगर आप स्ट्रेस्ड मोड में जा रहे हो, बच्चा कैन फील द स्ट्रेस. When the बच्चा can feel the stress, the more stress they are going to feel, the more anxious they are going to feel. The more anxious they are going to feel, क्या वो पढ़ पाएगा? नहीं. एंड आप फिर वो लूप वापस आएगा, वो पढ़ेगा नहीं तो आपको और गुस्सा आएगा, आप और एंग्शियस होगे, फिर उस पर स्ट्रेस जाएगा, वो और स्ट्रेस होगा, वो बिल्कुल पढ़ नहीं पाएगा. बस ये लूप चलता रहता है. The day you calm your emotions and be like, it's just a phase, my child is a good child, उसको सिर्फ सपोर्ट चाहिए, and I am not going to put my expectation, my anxiety on my child. और अगर आप एक स्टेप पीछे ले लोगे ना, things are going to become much much better. Okay, तो अगर आपका बच्चा ये कर रहा है, just a phase. Okay, you just have to help your child and give an alternate in the hand of your child. Okay, another thing, take it out आराम से. Every time you see it, take it out. Every time you see it, take it out. तो जैसे उसको ये करने की आदत पड़ गई, आप जितनी बार निकालोगे, you'll take it out. I know a lot of people say मिर्ची लगा दो, thumbs up कर रहा है, ये कर रहा है. That is basically giving a negative association with it. Okay, I don't think that is required, because if you have the patience of always asking your child to keep removing it, after a time they do not do it. सी जैसे नेल बाइटिंग कर रहे हैं, मैं थम सकिंग के बारे में भी बता दूं. काफी बच्चे थम सक करते हैं. क्यों? वाई? क्योंकि अगेन इट गिव्स देम कंफर्ट, इट गिव्स देम सूदिंग, इट इज लाइक व्हाट दे लाइक. इट्स लाइक इट गिव्स देम कि हाँ, आई एम सेफ, व्हाटएवर इज हैपनिंग अराउंड मी इज फाइन, राइट? In the same way, अगर आपका बच्चा थम सक कर रहा है, just take it out and give something else in your child's hand. Just give me 1 second. Huh? Zoravar, can you ask Alexa to reduce the volume, please? Thank you. Hi. Thank you for waiting. There was so much noise that I couldn't even concentrate. So I was just telling Zoravar to reduce the voice, the volume. Okay, so I was coming to thumb sucking. So thumb sucking में ना, I know people say कुछ बांध दो वो नहीं करेगा, मिर्ची लगा दो नहीं करेगा, ये कर लो वो कर लो. But understand it's the comfort that the child is seeking. Okay, so उसके लिए भी what you do is, if you see that your younger one has started sucking the thumb, you take it out. Okay, बहुत ही बुरा हाल है तो उसको ना वो दे दो, वो nipples नहीं आते to suck. That is much better than the thumb. ओके, बट आपको वो भी कभी ना कभी निकालना पड़ेगा. एंड यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि योर चाइल्ड बेसिकली इज लुकिंग फॉर कंफर्ट एंड सेफ्टी that makes them feel soothing. So you can give them a toy, you can give them a stuffed toy which becomes their safety thing. You know, whenever they feel little uncomfortable, whenever they feel that they're not in a safe place, they can just hug their toy, they can pat their toy, they have some kind of a game that they can play, some kind of a fidgety toy that they can work on. Try doing that. You know, in my workshop there's one line that I always say, and whenever someone comes to me with a problem, मैं उनको पता है क्या बोलती हूँ? Find the reason behind the problem. अगर आपका बच्चा एक एक्स काम कर रहा है, वो एक्स काम इसलिए कर रहा है क्योंकि उसके पीछे there are certain reasons. Maybe your child is feeling misunderstood, maybe your child is bored, maybe your child is feeling neglected, maybe your child needs attention, maybe your child is confused, maybe your child is is feeling that, you know, I am not worth it, or someone else has come, like a sibling has come and मेरी importance कम होगी, whatever XYZ reason हो सकता है. Try to find the reason for it. हम लोग सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम देखते हैं, हम उसके पीछे का रीजन नहीं देखते. जब भी आप रीजन पे वर्क करोगे ना, इट इज गोइंग टू वर्क लॉन्ग टर्म. Okay, before I take the next question, I'll give you a very simple example. Tuesday tha and my son was busy. Okay, he didn't go to school. Okay, he didn't go to school. So I was busy with my work, and I told him you can take a chutti, but I will be doing my work, and then when I'm done we'll play. But what, something or the other happened, calls हुआ, सब कुछ हुआ, and then उसका friend आ गया, he got busy, I got busy, and by the time 6:30 happened, he started showing me a lot of anger, unnecessary. दिख रहा है मुझे, you don't talk to me, you know, you are doing this, तुम आके नहीं बैठे ना, no, I am not going to talk to you. If you have a strong willed child, you know how it is. You know, थोड़ा नहीं करोगे, the first thing is, I don't want to do this, I am going, you don't like me, you know, you hate me, I hate you. उनका सीधा इसी टोन पे जाता है. I looked at him and I asked him, I said, क्या हुआ, प्रॉब्लम क्या है? No mama, you're not listening to me, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I said? I said, can I tell you problem क्या है? कहता you don't know. I said, okay, let me at least try. He said, okay. I said, you feel that I have not spent any time with you since morning, is that true? He said, yes. And I said, you want to play with me right now, but you do not know how to say that. He's like, yes. And you have not played with me, you're not spending time with me. And then his entire raga started. Okay. I said, so what do you want to do now? Tell me. Can you read me a book? Fine. We read a book and he became fine. But in that moment, I also taught my son, you know what? I said, Dekho, sometimes you can say things, what you feel, just say it. Mama, you are not playing with me. Or Mama, I feel neglected. Or Mama, I feel that, you know, you're not looking after me. Or Mama, I feel that, you know, I feel unhappy because you are busy doing something else and I'm getting bored. So in that moment, I taught that to my child also. I said, now say it to me. That Mama, can you play with me? I'm feeling bored. Or Mama, can you play with me that I'm not feeling loved. So I practice that with him. I have to give him vocabulary so that in next 6 months, 1 year, he doesn't have to do this drama and this tantrum and, you know, lash out and use what he feels like saying to me. Because what happens is the lash out is only the tip of the iceberg. Niche ka, when you understand what the problem is, you connect better with your child and you will give that skill also to your child. Okay. Okay, let's take another question. Oh, Sruchi Goel, my daughter is 6 years old. She says no for everything. I ask her to do something. First answer is always no. Later she will do it. It's normal. Again, I'll say. When a child says no, it is basically they are just trying to assert their authority. And if you have a strong-willed child, you will hear more no's than yeses. Zoravar, can you go pick up your toy? No. Zoravar, can you keep the plate? No. Zoravar, can you do this? No. So what I do is, I don't say can you. The moment I give my child an option of can you do this, a child can always say yes or no, right? No, right? They said no. And when they say no, then I have to listen to the no because I gave them an option. I asked them a question. मैंने इसके ऊपर बहुत बार रील्स बनाई हुई है. Okay? कि you know, the moment you ask your child a question, the answer can be yes or no. So stop asking questions to your child. Give direct directions what you want them to do. Zoravar, pick up the plate now. Okay, I start like that. Zoravar, pick up the plate now. If he still says no, then I just remind him, but that is what you're supposed to do. If he still says no, I would not pick up the plate from there. Let the plate be there and I will not even argue about it. I will not get into an argument because a strong-willed child will always get into an argument. सी होता क्या है ना, हम सारे बच्चों को एक तरीके से पेरेंट करने की कोशिश करते विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट देयर बेसिक पर्सनालिटी इज. Okay, the way you're going to parent a strong-willed child is very different from the way you're going to parent a fearful child. The way you're going to parent a fearful child is going to be very different with the way you're going to parent a shy child. Okay, so that is what I teach in my positive discipline workshop. Parent the child that the child needs. उसकी personality के हिसाब से parent it. Your child is a very strong-willed child. With a strong-willed child, you cannot keep getting into arguments, because the more you start getting into arguments, the more power struggle will happen. And trust me, गुस्सा आपको ही आता है, उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ता इतना, because it's their personality to get into power struggles. They love it when they are winning it. So coming back to what I do with Zoravar. Zoravar, pick up the plate. No. But that is what you're supposed to do. I'm not going to pick up the plate. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can pick up the plate. And I leave the plate there. I don't get into an argument. I don't get into a power struggle. I don't say anything to him. Not at least for next 15-20 minutes. Let the plate be sit there for 15-20 minutes, half an hour. How does it matter? बट क्योंकि मुझे चुल मची हुई है ना कि उसको अभी करना है, अभी करेगा, अभी प्लेट उठाए वहां से, अभी ये करे, आई मेक इट वेरी पर्सनल. A lot of parents do. Okay, so with a strong willed child, don't do that. It's okay. 15 मिनट 20 मिनट बीत जाएंगे, उसका भी थोड़ा पारा ठंडा हो जाएगा, आप भी थोड़ा ओके हो जाओगे. Then what you do is just direct. The plate is there. Please pick it up. Still, if he says no, then what I do is I use the next strategy. See, there are a lot of tools that you need to have in your toolkit to know how to handle these kids. Okay. Then I take my child with the hand and I said, come, I'll help you. We're going to put it together. Okay. So in positive discipline workshop, I teach you a lot of tools to manage power struggles. Because एक चीज नहीं चलेगी, something else will work. वो नहीं चलेगा, something else will work. But you need to understand what your child's personality is and where you're going wrong in parenting them. इसीलिए there's so much fight. इसीलिए the only thing you hear is no. I'll give you. अभी मैं उठ के गई थी, है ना, बहुत जोर से अलेक्सा लगा के बैठा हुआ है जोरावर, इज लिसनिंग टू हिज ऑडियो बुक्स. ओके, यहाँ से अगर मैंने ये बोला होता ना जोरावर को, जोरावर आवाज कम करो, तुम्हें पता नहीं है मैं यहाँ पे लाइव पे हूँ, वो आवाज ना और बढ़ा देता उसकी. ओके, so I will tell him very nicely, Zoravar, please put the volume down. That's it, period. Nothing more, nothing less. But what I will do after this live is, once he has finished that, I will go and I'll explain it to him that why this loud noise was making me irritated, and next time please be mindful. Okay, and next time if he is home and I'm coming for a live, I will remind him, Zoravar, the Alexa volume should not be above 10. वो मम्मा का आवाज आता है and then mama gets irritated and I get disturbed. So you understand, I finish the whole loop. I don't just, ये problem आज की, ये अगर मैं आज यहाँ छोड़ दूंगी, I will have the same problem next time he's at home and he's listening to Alexa. So to sort that problem, I need to have a discussion Remind the child again when the next time it is happening, so that my child knows what to do. Otherwise वो लूप चलता ही रहता है, which a lot of parents is facing. एक चीज उस टाइम के लिए आप सिर्फ बैंडेज पेरेंटिंग करके बैंडेज सोल्यूशन निकाल के चले जाते हो. You don't discuss it, you don't remind your child about it, so you are saying the same problem happens. Okay, and your children are going to say no to you. Please get used to it. If any parent here feels that your child should not say no to you, that's the most unrealistic expectation you have. You want your child to go out and say no to people, right? If someone is touching your girl, you do want your child to say no, right, Sruchi? If someone is mean to your child, you do want her to say no, right? If someone is not kind to your child and is saying mean things, you do want your child to fight back, right? So you do want an opinionated child, you do want a child who has a mind of her own, right? That no starts at home. It is difficult to handle a strong willed child because they have a very strong personality, but there is a way to do it. You need to have your tools under your belt to know how to manage them, so that तुम उनका ये जो इंडिपेंडेंस है, तुम उनका जो ये जो स्ट्रॉन्ग नेचर है, जो उनका ये लीडरशिप क्वालिटी है, इसको खत्म नहीं कर रहे हो. Okay, you just trying to tell them that listen, you have to be more compassionate towards other, but you be who you are. Okay, I'll take another question. If you're going to okay, again I'll say, if you're going to ask me a generic question, I'm going to give you a very generic answer. Someone has asked me, my child is 10 months old baby, what advice to handle him? Nothing, just love. The the main things about tantrums and everything is coming now. Wait, your child is going to be 12, 24. That is when you will realize that suddenly your child has shifted. Right now your child's requirement is खाना खिला दो, सुला दो, थोड़ा खेल लो. Your child is may or may not be walking or just crawling right now, so that limitation is still there. The moment your child starts walking, everything is no, 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 don't do this, don't do that, don't hit, don't. So that phase is still coming. Only advice is keep your calm, have realistic expectation from your child, understand tantrums, meltdowns are normal. 60 to 65 children have tantrums every day, so your child is no different. Tantrums hoga, it is normal, it's a milestone that needs to happen. Okay, that's how their brain is developing. Around 16 to 18 months, your child is going to have more, your child is going to say more, a lot of no's. Why? Because they're going to assert their authority. So all that is coming. But if you have realistic expectation, if you know that my this is all a part of growing up in my child's life, if you let your child's personality develop, you're going to do better. And if you do not have a if you do not have a thing about ideal parenting, there's no ideal parenting. Okay. Amrita says, how can make understand a 14 or control? Okay, my son is 14 years old. How can I make him understand to manage his thoughts? Manage his thoughts. See, the moment a child is a teenager, there is a lot which goes on in your child's life. Okay, because your child is someone who is now trying to understand who they are with their value system, with their belief system, irrespective of you. I know parents don't like it, but that's a fact. Okay, so abhi tak your child is following what you say, your child is doing what you do, but now because they're in the teenage, they're learning new things, they're seeing new things, they are going to start forming their own opinion about things. Okay, they want to understand, who am I, what do I stand for? Okay, in this scenario, what is most important is thoughts is something that you can teach your child depending upon what kind of circle they have. You cannot teach your child about anything with lectures. You can teach your child things with movies, you can teach your child things with books, you can teach your child things with modeling, you can teach your child things with examples, with stories. but lecture देके nobody is going to learn anything. राइट. सपोज मैं यहाँ पे बैठी हूँ और मैं आपको एक चीज पे लेक्चर दे ही जा रही हूँ, यू विल बी लाइक क्या बोल रही हूँ. दैट्स व्हाई आई कीप गिविंग एग्जांपल ऑफ जोरावर, आई कीप गिविंग एग्जांपल ऑफ माई सेल्फ, आई कीप गिविंग एग्जांपल ऑफ अ क्लाइंट, बिकॉज you will understand things better when I either related to you or I related to a client or I related to my own life. Okay, so again, I don't know in which perspective you're asking me how to control his thoughts. First of all, thoughts cannot be controlled. It can only go good or bad. Now, your role as a mother or a father is to make sure that you keep having that conversations with your child to know first कि उसके दिमाग में चल क्या रहा है. वैसे the moment the child is teen, they want to talk less to you. Okay, but it is so important to have those heartfelt conversations. अब वो conversation कब करोगे? आधा टाइम तो वो स्कूल में होते, right? वो conversations आप करो weekend पे, वो कॉन्वर्सेशंस आप करो डिनर टेबल पे, टीवी बंद कर लो, यू नो, डोंट वॉच टीवी while having food. The best conversations happen during dinner time. When a family sits together, चाहे वो 15 मिनट हो, 20 मिनट हो, that's the best time to talk about things. And that time don't grill your child, क्या हुआ, इसने क्या बोला, उसने क्या बोला. That time just listen to your child with an open mind. Listen to your child with whatever the child is saying without judgment, without saying this is right, this is wrong, unless your child asks you this question. The moment your child goes into teenage, now remember one thing, listen first and then say, I have a view about it, do you want to listen? मेरे को लगता है कि तुम्हें ऐसा करना चाहिए, what do you think? You start becoming like more like an advisor to your child. I won't even say friends, become an advisor in the sense कि ठीक है तुम मुझे बोल रहे हो मेरे ये फ्रेंड ने ये कर दिया, उसने ये कर दिया, अच्छा मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है, या फिर मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये है. मैं वहां पे उसको वो नहीं बोल रही उसको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए या ये करना चाहिए, मैं बोल रही हूँ मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ये है. सो आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम अ पॉइंट ऑफ एन एडवाइजिंग कि यू नो दिस इज व्हाट आई फील, इफ यू वांट टू टेक इट यू टेक इट, इफ यू डोंट वांट टू टेक इट यू डोंट टेक इट. Another thing you can do very smartly with teenagers is that you can always say that, you know, ye problem ka, I think there is certain things that I can discuss with you only if you're interested. If you're interested, you tell me, maybe we can, you know, sit and talk about it, and then leave it there. इससे क्या होता है, it builds curiosity on them, within them, and if they're even 1% interested in what you have to say, they will come to you to ask for it. When teenagers come to you to ask for it, the possibility of them listening to you is more. Instead of you just starting chapar, that's not going to help. Okay. Okay. Hello, my child is in nursery. Last year in PG, he went to school happily, but this session he is not willing to go. Again, I'll say every year is different. जब भी break के बाद child has to go back to school. After every break, when a child has to go back to school, they might go through the same regression, they might go through the same anxiety all over again. It is perfectly normal for children to feel anxious, to feel unsafe when they're going somewhere. First time, second time, third time. Break हो गया, एक महीना नहीं गया, 15 दिन नहीं गया, हफ्ता नहीं गया. You will see children who are well settled in school, एक हफ्ते का break हो गया, they are not well, they were having fever or something, or they traveled, they came back. Then again the settling in period will start. Okay, so as I said, and I always say, look for what is beneath. Don't say मेरा बच्चा पहले ऐसे नहीं करता था अब ऐसे करता है. You know, your child is changing, so should your parenting as well. Maybe उस टाइम पे उसको उतना anxious नहीं हुआ था, but now because the child is growing up, they are getting more anxious about things. They have this fear that you may or may not come back. There might be a teacher that your child may not like. There can be n number of reasons. Try to understand that reason. Do not push your child too much into नहीं ये कर, पहले तो ऐसे नहीं करता था अब क्यों ऐसे करता है, this that and everything. That is not going to help. The more time you're going to give your child to adapt to a new situation, the more safer they will feel. हमारा काम ही क्या है यार, हमारा काम है to keep our child safe and to make our children feel safe and loved, right? Sometimes some children's के साथ it takes 5 days, some children that take 10 days. For my child it took 30 days. First time I had to leave him in kindergarten. 30 days. And then when the next cycle came and he went into K2, again 15 days. And then there are parents, I'll tell you, ki children have gone 1 week very nicely, happily. After 1 week, the regression has started. Now they don't want to go to school. There's hitting, there's crying on the gate, and you're jabardasti sending your children inside, and lot is happening. Because कभी कभी बच्चों को बाद में realize होता है कि मुझे नहीं करना, पहले excitement थी, so I went. Okay, so it is okay. Your child just need little bit more of your time. That's it. As I said before, the day you leave the anxiety and worry around it, and you start accepting your child's need and being there for your child, the sooner your child will adjust, and that is my guarantee. Nothing has lasted forever in parenting. ये बात आप याद रख लो. अगर बेस्ट होता है अगर पेरेंट्स को लगता है ना कि मेरा बच्चा पॉटी ट्रेन नहीं है, मेरा बच्चा स्कूल नहीं जा रहा, मेरा बच्चा फोकस नहीं कर रहा है, it is not going to last forever. It is not going to last forever. ये बात बांध लो आप. तो आपकी जो भी आजकल प्रॉब्लम है अपने बच्चे के साथ, या आपको जो भी नहीं समझ में आ रहा, या फिर जो आप उससे करवाना चाहते हो वो नहीं हो रहा है, remember, it is not going to last forever. It is just a phase. It is going to come. You just have to be with your child patiently, guiding your child, giving skills to your child, and it will pass. Few days back, I met this friend of mine. I very well remember 4 years back when I came to Bangalore. She always used to say, यार मेरा बच्चा इतना मारता है, यार मेरा बच्चा ये करता है, मेरा बच्चा वो करता है. Very sweet child. खाता बहुत है, ये बहुत है, वो बहुत है, And कितनी बार से मुझसे पूछा भी, यार ये फोकस नहीं करता पढ़ाई में, मैं क्या करूँ, ये वो करके. मैं कुछ नहीं बोलती थी. I said, children change. You just be with your child. Stop looking at the negative in the child. And now when I met her, the child is 13 now. And now when I met her, she says, यार there's a drastic change in him, यार. Now he's automatically studying. मैं तो को बोलना भी नहीं पड़ता है. That's what I keep saying. Children change every 6 months, every 1 year, every 2 years. कुछ एक चीज will happen and the child will just suddenly from not studying will suddenly start because studying a lot, focusing a lot, doing their own things a lot. Sometimes ये उल्टा भी हो जाता है. Children who talk a lot suddenly become too quiet. Children who are very quiet start talking a lot. देखो, talking a lot से becoming too quiet is a kind of a red flag. You have to see why, what happened, why suddenly my child is not talking, why suddenly my child is not sharing things, why suddenly my child has become very introvert. That's a red flag. Okay, but any problems you have today, best solution is you let go of your anxiety and your fear. बच्चा सीख ही जाएगा. बट अगर आप उस टाइम पे उसके सर पे बैठ के अपना एंजाइटी, अपना फियर, अपना फ्यूचर ले लोगे कि अगर मेरे बच्चे ने आज ABCD नहीं लिखा, अगर मेरे बच्चे के आज 4 out of 10 आए हैं तो मतलब इसकी जिंदगी बर्बाद है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. वो आज की रियलिटी है, वो कल की रियलिटी नहीं है. सो लेट गो ऑफ द फियर एंड एंजाइटी दैट यू फील एंड सपोर्ट योर चाइल्ड जो उसको आज चाहिए. The more you support and love your child, the more you accept your child, the more you are present with your child, the better the child will open up to you, connect with you, and do better in life. Chalo, 12 baj gaye. With that, thankfully nobody came to interrupt, thanks to my husband. And we will see you next Thursday. Again, tomorrow is the free masterclass. If you have not registered, link is there in the comments. I have pinned it, or you can go to my bio and you can register there as well. It's a free calm motherhood masterclass. And I also have a positive discipline workshop starting Monday. Very few seats are left. If you really want to parent the child according to their personality, if you want to learn more about boundaries in detail, if you want to have a toolkit as to what to do when your child is not listening and how to make them actually listen without losing your calm, then do register for this positive discipline workshop. Very honestly, it's very reasonably priced. उतने का तो आप बाहर जाके डिनर खा के आ जाओगे या आज ही खर्च कर दोगे, because it's a festival. या वीकेंड पे तो पक्का उतना money you are going to spend. So why not spend it on yourself and build a better relationship with your child? With that, I'll see you next Thursday. Until then, bye bye.